Morning, my little weirdos. It is the day after Christmas, 2024, and this could be a little short one, but I've been catching up on some news, not full dive in because, well, we don't need that for the next day or two. But some good news that I've been hearing is the Democrats in Congress, especially the House, are fighting like they're fighting hard to block the very worst that tyrannical tangerine toddler has tried to set into motion. Several of the worst cabinet picks have already been like, as most of you probably know, have already been. But no way. Uh-uh. Um, and it's not just there. You may have known that Biden has been furiously um, appointing federal judges. He is now, before this, the one who has appointed the most was the toddler. But now Joe has topped that. Democrats in the House made it quite clear, and the Senate as well, that they're going to go till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning every day. And they have pushed it through. And if the Republicans don't want that, they're going to have to stay too. Because if they don't stay, then their vote's not recorded for each one. So, that's helpful. And he's still going on that. He's done quite a bit of pardons because the toddler wants to put executions and all this stuff. He's hot on that. He wanted to execute the Central Park Five, and they never admitted guilt. And they were exonerated, completely exonerated. Somebody else confessing, and it was proven that that person had done it. And to this day, the toddler refuses to accept that. He said, "No, no, no. They confessed." So we know Biden knew what he would have done, and so he commuted things. He's been doing what he can to block him hurting the tangerine toddler from hurting not only specific people unfairly, but which is the only reason why he pardoned his son after he said he wouldn't, because they're going for him, and they have been going for him, and they won't let it rest until he's like killed in prison or something. And we all knew that, and as a father, Joe knew that too, and that is the only reason why he did eventually pardon Hunter, because they've been gunning for him and trying to persecute him just as revenge. What Hunter did, and has in hindsight, or even before that, he'd already done his time, as far as he's paid it, the taxes, that type of thing. Nothing happened criminally with the gun. So, you know what I'm saying. And the toddler, in his first term, pardoned people that absolutely should not have been pardoned. So, you can't fault him for that if you're being fair and logical. So while he's doing that in the executive end, the Congress Democrats have, like I said, been furious about just Fast and Furious, not Angry Furious. They have been heads to the road they're in, and they have been serious champs about it. Interestingly enough, again, the Republicans have already started with the whole thing with the keeping the budget, the government shutdown. Republicans, not MAGAs, but the other Republicans were all coming crying to the Democrats again. Help save this. It always seems like when shit hits the fan, when the Republicans do something and it backfires or just creates more problems, everybody has to turn to the Democrats and say, help. What, you're just sitting there. Help fix this. The Democrats are like, hello. We told you this was a bad idea. We told you this could happen. You told us to shut up, and everybody voted against us, and now you want our help. And because Democrats have always tried to be playing by the civil laws rules up until recently, we're done with that, because not only do we get screwed, we don't get apologized to. You were wrong, we were wrong, you were right. We get laughed at and everything, when what we were warning about comes to be. There's no apology, there's no regret from them, there's no you were right, okay, what do we do? It's just help fix it. And then you wonder, on the few times when the Democrats dig their heels in and say, figure it out yourself, figure it out. And they're all like, well, you're not working as a team player. Ooh. They're not even in gaslighting 101. They're like in gaslighting 501. And Democrats have had enough. And it's interesting, because when we stop being a partial doormat out of civility and courtesy of politics that was used to be, we get gaslit, trying to be twisted around. And it's not that we just noticed that you Republicans do that. We've noticed it. We've mentioned it. We've, challenged you to your face about it. The whole Lindsey Graham, with Obama, that he can't, do that close to an election. And yet, the following time, they pushed Coney Barrett through and everything in less time than they told us it wasn't correct to do. They did that more than once. And when we shoved it back in their face and say, no, you made that rule last time for us, you need to stand by that rule too. They're like, no, but this is different. Do you see how that is wrong? Do you see how that does not compute, how it just will blow your computer chips? Because the more they insist, no, we were right, we were correct both times, the more your brain is going, no, listen to that. Don't allow them to continue to gaslight and sheep lead you, when your eyes and your ears, that's what we said about January 6th this whole time. There's all these years, and still, you saw it. What your gut says, that's right. And they tried to twist it so many of them. Totally back in the word McConnell. He just, everybody was outraged at first because the wounds and the sights and sounds were fresh from seeing it. And as soon as people, it started, it's like when women takes a short amount of time and then you forget all about the pains and the agonies of the pregnancy and the birth and all that stuff, and it's like you remember it, but it fades around the edges really quick. That's kind of how that is. And as soon as we got to that point as a nation, or not all of us, at least half, they started in again with making up another scenario or explanation. And there is one thing that the Republicans are excellent at, and it's kind of a two-parter. It's getting their message across, especially when they're lies or misdirections or twistings of the actual facts, because that actual facts make them look real bad. So they'll have a partial truth in there that we all know is true, but then they twist it without you knowing it. And that kind of messaging, that subliminal messaging plus gaslighting kind of thing, and then doing it with a straight face, looking you right in the eye. Those are the people that would be able to beat a polygraph, which is exactly why they're not. You can't use them in a court of law as like the only thing that convicts somebody, because apparently a large part, at least half of this country, or up to a half, can't tell when that's being done to them. So they've gotten very good at that, and also where they're messaging, how they're messaging, and where they're messaging. Now, Democrats, we can address the second one, and we can also. Apparently, Barron had a lot to do in those last few months when it was really looking dismal for him, and then all of a sudden it was like a new life in their campaign. At the very end, that's when Barron had told him, because he's a Gen Z, and he was plugged into the popular podcast, even though I know I said it was going to be a short video. But I remembered I want to address that. Even if that wasn't politically topic, podcast, he still. They asked, did they want them to come on? And the quickest way to make a popular broadcast even more popular, or not a known one to become known, is to have a political thing during an election year type of deal. So that made a lot of sense. And when it came out that Barron was responsible for that part of it, that did bring a lot of people that were still unbelievably on the fence to that side, because they're like, oh yeah, he's trying to be involved with the all generations kind of an attitude. So Democrats definitely, we need to be working on that. In fact, they are. AOC, she is also, she's still a little older than Barron's generation, but she's still linked into the younger set of our population, and where she does TikToks and seems natural on it, So people like her, getting the younger people like Jasmine stuff, that's a good thing. We need to do that. The Republicans are a bunch of old people, most of it. However, the fact that they have a young one that's obviously willing to go to the dark side. Everybody really didn't know where he stood per se, but doing that and helping his dad get it over the edge, I think we all know where Barron stands now. I don't think that's a question at any point now. That was decided relatively quickly in just a few months' time. So, the Democrats have been struggling. And the other thing is, the toddler has taken several Republican members from the House, and well, from Congress in general, and the House. And right now, they can't afford to have people missing votes, like Boebert likes to do. If she doesn't want to look bad, but she doesn't to her party, but she knows either way it's either going to be her party mad at her, or her constituents mad at her, and so she'll like conveniently have car trouble or get hung up and run up the stairs. She's done it a couple times, and they'll be like, "Oh, they already started the vote," type of thing, and so you can't come in once you're late, and so she can't vote. And that's her thing, so it doesn't look bad to anybody. It was just like, I couldn't help being late. There was something that came up. So we're on to that one. That if that shit happens, one or two people do it, or somebody really is not available to do it, to vote on something, they're going to have to work real hard, because the Democrats are just doubly incentivized now to, block and repel, and at least be like, okay, well, we get you, but not you can go. We got to do that, and the ones that are in now are stepping up to the plate, and the ones coming in, they know exactly what they're stepping in. They don't really have time to, ease into the new job, the new position. So they're just going to have to jump in. There's no acclimation period. Like you're used to it, a job, or, in school or whatever. You in a club even, where you're just kind of acclimating, kind of assessing, getting a feel. You're going to have to dive right in right away, because the new Congress comes in on January 3rd, and on the 20th, I mean, we're talking like, 17 days, 2.5 weeks, not even, before the toddler is back, and the stench of ketchup. So, hopefully he'll be busy for the first couple days looking for the Diet Coke button that was taken out. Yeah. One of these days he's going to hit the wrong red Diet. It's not going to be the Diet Coke button. But, oh yeah, that reminds me, that plane the other day that went down, cuz down there, and they were, yeah. I just heard today from several different sources, it was shot down. It was, again, a Russian shot it down, mistaking it for a drone. They've shot others down, saying, "Oh, without." They're just trigger happy. It's like, before you get a positive verification, shoot. 38 people perished. I think there was like six. It was like half the people. It was like 67 people or 62, something like that. 38 died, and some of them were children. So I saw that yesterday morning, Christmas morning. Sitting there Christmas morning, getting ready before I did my Christmas morning video. And that's why I was so reflective and pensive on that video, because I'm sitting there Christmas morning crying for 38 strangers and their families that live on the other side of the planet from me, that should have been going to sleep peacefully and happy from a day of celebrating with their loved ones instead of perishing. So that kind of sucked. Though you did see damage when I saw on Christmas morning, when I saw the wreckage. I saw they were videotaping because it was acting weird, and that pilot, find the video, that pilot, you could see how the plane was starting to try to go down, pushing down, and he was the wreckage, you could see holes in it. Looks like bullet holes or something, but it was like, they said that, I forget what they called it. That's the kind of damage it does. So yes, they were shot down, and they weren't even what they were shot down as thinking they were. It was just a passenger plane. So I don't know how you can justify the actions that Russia, that Putin does. I mean, it's just, and what's even a little more scary is the toddler's amount and level of revenge that he wants to exact on not only his enemies, but the entire country and the planet, is at least equal to Putin's bloodthirsty power need. The toddler had a lot of power, and he still does, a lot of power needs, he just needs to, he needs that power. He can't, and even then he wouldn't be satisfied. He's one of those people. And his level of fury and revenge. For what? For holding him accountable for crimes that he did against other people and things. I mean, you're mad because you're being held accountable, and that is what it boils down to. When people say, well, he's getting even. Getting even for what? Anything that he was being held accountable to, the documents and everything, were crimes that he committed. He's just mad he got caught and everybody was told about it. That's all. He's mad that people laugh at him. People laugh at him because he's a greedy, narcissistic jerk who does things without thinking. All he wants is that momentary, like a serial killer. You get that moment of satisfaction and that high, and it goes away quickly, and then you need more. That's not only power for him, but it's revenge as well that he's like that with. And it's revenge that he's imagined have been slights against him, because being held accountable is not, he's not the only one that's ever been held accountable. He's just angry because he's being held accountable. He feels he is better than everybody else, and he's always felt he was better than everybody else. There's no fixing that, because that's just a screwed up thinking. You can't open up his head and pour the right stuff in and fish the wrong stuff out. And that is a very illogical, warped way of viewing the long view, the world, seeing the forest and not just your trees. And like Putin, neither one of them and Xi and Jinping, I mean, they're never satisfied. They say, if I just have Ukraine, I'll be satisfied. But then he starts looking at Poland. It's the same thing. China's like, if we just have we're big, we're huge, yeah, but we changed our mind. We want Taiwan back. There's no backsies, okay? And you think you're tempted into thinking, how do they not understand that? That's not the issue. It's not how they understand that. They don't care. That's the only way they're going to get any kind of, even just for a temporary high. That feeling that, yep, I'm king of the planet, of the universe, But that goes away. I've seen many interviews with serial killers, serial rapists, things like that explain it just that way. Afterwards, it was really great for a couple hours, or really great for a couple of weeks, or a couple of days, whatever that person's, cycle is. But after that, it's like I had to need even more to do it. So feeding that warped perception is not the solution. Placating it is not the solution, because eventually they will erupt and do something horrendous. You can't keep shoving stuff like that down. You fucking treat it, or you lock it up forever. I don't know how else to explain that to you people. Those guys, those people, they know that they're making, that's the part of their high is knowing that they're making everybody else's, or a large percentage of other people, less happy, less productive, less able to possess things, thus making that person feel like they have more, because they took it from them. Those people would lose their power and their shine, their little exterior, oh look at me, everybody adores me, I must be wonderful, because you'll kill them if they don't, and their families. This is where he wants to be. And it's not getting it through, get it through his head. No, it's getting it through your head. Normally it is change the one, or hold the one accountable and stop everybody else from being led by them. Usually it is the masses over the one. But when you're somebody's that this is so twisted, and they have the money to buy the power, to magnify their money so nobody can outbuy their power, that is their object, that is their aim. And whatever lie they have to tell you to placate you and shut you up for this time and another time and another time, they're gaining ground on you. As a group of people, you need to take back, at the same time you go and say, I want my light back. They say, I want mine back. You say, I want mine back. I want my power back. I want my shine back. How are they going to fight all of you if even their own are able to be convinced that, do you not see? That's the only way things are really changed. As a group, you become a superpower over that one person that has the wealth to buy the fame, the fame, the money, the stuff, the power. over you because they'll take even more away from you. Now, the only way, once they've gotten that to that point, and obviously this presidency in America was bought. We all know that. That has to change once he's as out of power. Those laws have to be started now so they can be brought up once he's not in power anymore. Work on him now. You got 4 years where there's limits to spending, to note. How about nobody's allowed to ever donate again? How about that? How about that for political? And if you receive or give a donation, it's you, if you have the receipts, it's just an automatic sentence. You're taken out of population because we can't trust you. That's it. That would stop a lot of that shit. Does it UK or something does that? Government gives each party the same amount of money. It's for all your positions up and down the ballot. Nobody gets any more. Nobody can be bought for things because they wouldn't get a payback, a kickback. That's all. And have a department that monitors that shit. And every little move, so churches are kept out of them because nobody can donate. That would stop a lot of that shit. There's this evangelically Christianity shoved into everything. Okay? That would stop the bullshit ads. One ad for one part of the country, of a swing state, and then the other part that's to that population of the swing state. You're wasting money making 2 different ads for one state, and you're lying in both ads. So you're not playing fair with the voters, and that would stop a lot of that. It would stop people in Congress voting for particular things like fossil fuels or gun, the NRA and stuff, because they wouldn't be getting donations for their campaigns. Nobody donates and nobody accepts donations, or you're imprisoned. That's it. A lot of that corruption crap would stop. And the religion and politics would stop. Enough PACs, super PACs, we're done. Y'all get one. If your candidate on the top part wants to hog all the money that was received, you don't get any more and nobody can give you any more. That's the end of it. You can't even donate your own. You all play on the same field. That would keep the rich people from always winning, only if they merited to win. I would stop a lot of stuff. Trump wanted like 600 million or some damn ridiculous amount for his inauguration. He has invited China to his inauguration. The first time in history. That's disgusting. It's abysmal. It is just. But anyway, have a great day. And do not worry, the Democrats are definitely making waves and working in the shadows. So we're going to have to trust the democratic process and our democratic elected officials. They are fighting for democracy. Like I said, a lot of it seems to be in the shadows. And unless you're watching channels on YouTube that are putting clips from those in, you're probably not going to see it anywhere, mainstream and stuff like that. But they are like Congress and clips of Senate or Congress things. you get a lot of information from those that a lot of people don't realize what was going on in those. That's where the 6B came in. It was at one of those things. So oversight meetings and stuff like that, they're all recorded. So go take a little dive in those sometime. They're interesting. Peace out, guys.